Hey everyone, and welcome to my review of Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for Game Gear. Yeah, I bet you thought that this was going to be the Genesis version, didn't you? Well, actually, as it turns out, a lot of people don't know this, but the Game Gear version was actually released first. The Genesis version was released in November of 1992, and the Game Gear version was released in October of 1992, originally on the Sega Master System. And then it was later put on the Game Gear after the Genesis version. So I think that's where the confusion goes, because the Game Gear version technically did come after the Genesis version, but the Master System, which is just like the Game Gear version except for screen crunch, was released before the Genesis version. Therefore, I'm reviewing the Game Gear version first. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is infamous for being very hard, and I can see why. So the plot of this game is that Dr. Robotnik kidnapped Tails, and it's up to Sonic to go rescue him. Yes, this is the first appearance of Sonic's friend Miles Tails per Hour, who would become a prominent character in the franchise. Each zone has 3 acts and a boss fight. You start off in Underground Zone. Yeah, for once you don't start in a grassy plains. And actually, it's pretty hard for a first zone, but compared to the rest of the game, it's pretty easy. Sky High Zone introduces the hang glider, which so many people have trouble controlling, but actually, other than the hang glider, it's also pretty easy compared to the rest. Aqua Lake Zone is next, and the first act is not that bad, but the second act is god-awful, especially when it comes to the bubble you have to steer out of the way of obstacles to control. Honestly, I personally hate the bubble more than the hang glider. Then there's Green Hills Zone. Yeah, not Green Hill, Green Hills. Just like Aqua Lake Zone, the first act is no sweat, but the second act can go fuck itself because you have to use springs to jump over large parts of spikes. I don't know if it's just me, but I spent so much time just trying to beat this one act. And guess what? You have to do it again with the third act in order to get to the boss. And the boss here is actually not that bad in my opinion, so getting to the boss is actually harder than the boss itself. Gimmick Mountain Zone is sort of a maze with lots of different platforms and spikes. Yeah, I don't really like this zone. There's nothing really much else to say about it. Then there's Scrambled Egg Zone, and if you thought Gimmick Mountain was a big maze, just you wait for this zone. It's extremely annoying. Even trying to get into the tubes is extremely annoying. You fight Silver Sonic at the end, and if you manage to get all the Chaos Emeralds, which once again I didn't, you get the true final zone, Crystal Egg Zone. Now some of you might think that I didn't truly finish the game, and I understand if you think that, but like I said before, I really didn't care about getting the Chaos Emeralds in these Game Gear games. So if you have a problem with that, I'm sorry. So Sonic the Hedgehog 2 on Game Gear is not a good game in my opinion. It's not even as good as the first Game Gear game. The difficulty for me just doesn't make me want to replay it. I'm gonna give Sonic the Hedgehog 2 a 4 out of 10. So that was Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for Game Gear. I actually don't think it's as hard as I thought. It wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. Now keep in mind, I still think the game is very challenging. Hence, like I said, it doesn't make me want to go back to it because of its difficulty. But the way people, before I played it, I heard people, people complaining, oh my god, this game is so hard. It's so ridiculously hard, and I thought it was going to be like a nightmare when I would play it. But actually, it turns out it wasn't as bad as I was expecting. But maybe it was the fact that I also used save states, like I did for all the Game Gear games. Yeah, I didn't think it was as hard as people were describing. So here's to hoping that the next Game Gear game I look at will be better, at least. But actually, folks, next week is going to be my review of a game that some people were probably waiting for. Yeah, that's right. Super Mario Land 2 for the Game Boy. Yeah, not getting to Sonic 2 on the Genesis yet, sorry. But yeah, so Super Mario Land 2 will be next week. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good night.